Hey man, this is Tommy Chung, and you're listening. And
Harry's drinking.
What's cracking, y'all? It's Lil Kelpie from the 1503, aka Kelpie the P, aka call me whatever you want, just don't call me broke. And I'm fucking with the Harris's Drinking Again podcast, one of the first podcasts or platforms to put me on. Y'all better stay following them, watching them. Stay tuned for more shit. Big things happening in the future.
Harry's drinking again. Yo. Back up in the building for another edition of the Harry's Drinking Again Pubcast. I am your host, Harry Too Scary, aka Mr. Harris. And we are up in the building for the 70th edition of TNR. That's Thursday Night Rants, aka Therapy Night Rants. And tonight, we should have Miss C.A. Kanooble back in the building. We couldn't make it work last week. And I also apologize because apparently there was some slight audio issues again. The audio is safely. We had a couple callers on Podbean calling in and things of that nature. And speaking of that, we're going to go live from the Podbean now as well. We should be up and rolling tonight. I thought the music was playing just a minute ago in this intro. I don't know if it's this thing with Talk Studio nowadays, now formerly Melon, but the music doesn't play when I put this up on the screen and so on and so forth. So, hey, figuring it out over here, man. CA has the link. She says she wouldn't fall asleep, take a nap this week. I've promoted it, done my part, so hopefully she gets up here in the building. Now I see we got CA. Now she wants to come on, goddammit. Hour and 23 motherfucking minutes later. Shit. But we'll entertain the bullshit. Let's go. So, without further motherfucking ado, a female comic and author and a hoe. I believe that's what she called herself. Mentally ill hoe. We're going to get into it. So coming to the stage, C.A. Kanooble. Oh, my bad, girl. I hit the wrong button on you. Over here drinking and shit. Miss C.A. Kanooble.
Yes.
Up in the
Sorry,
building.
I'm late, but I made it.
What the fucking hell, goddammit?
Bro, it's 12 o'clock in the morning. I'm old. Sit around.
You're late.
I am.
But you be in the late, you be in the scenes, right? You be in the comedy world and whatnot.
Yeah, and I'm for the streets. For the streets. So.
And you are for the streets. Well, I want to get into that because we've had a couple of engagements on Beeline's show, and let me turn the thing up here. And we've done a few podcasts on his, and we've had some good topics, some good engagement. Now, give a brief rundown of your honus and what exactly your brand is and what you have going on so people can get the full scope of the mind of the CA.
So, hoe is top tier. Hoes choose happiness over everything. HOE. Period. There's a difference between a hoe, a whore, and a slut. And that's what people don't understand. So that's what I'm going to break down for you really quick. A hoe is selective about who she plays with. She usually keeps a roster. And we sign NDAs in this bitch. Like, you're not telling anybody what happened here. Period. Okay? A slut will fuck anyone, anywhere, anytime. Doesn't matter. They're just in it for the love of the game, and that's fine. Just get tested. Then you have your whores. Whores are doing it, but you got to give something in return. There's some kind of compensation. Dinner, hair and nails, money, whatever the case may be. You have to provide something for them to give you their time or clap cheeks. That's the rundown. My book not only explains the difference between all of these in a more detailed way, it'll help you figure out who you are in that lineup, because they're all okay to be one. It's okay to be a hoe, a whore, or a slut. You just want to be a hoe at the end of the day, because that's top tier. But it also goes into relationships, communication, the fact that men are logical, women are emotional, which helps people really maintain and understand situations and relationships better. So,
now,
it's not energy allowed.
Now, is this a concept you kind of came up with yourself or on your own? Like, because, say like in the streets or in the hip hop world, bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks and all this. I mean, hoe is, she a hoe. Even other girls will be like, is she a hoe? This and this. So like, where is that something you tried to like flip? Like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to make the hoes ain't bad, or where did that kind of concept?
So I took hoe because it's a derogatory term, but it shouldn't be a derogatory term, because technically slut is derogatory, not hoe. That's just where the misconception is. When I wrote my book, it came from studying people and the way they behave. I taught classes at an adult sex club on how to better please your partner, which, before I say anything, stems down to communication and seduction. So do with that information what you will. But I studied people that were, any kind of sexual orientation, married, single, it didn't matter. I just studied people before, during, and after physical interactions to see how they behave certain ways and why. And that's kind of where I came up with the concept of my book. I'm like, all right, there's definitely only 3 categories that you can be in, male or female. I'm like, all right, cool. That's what this is. That chick's definitely a whore. That chick's definitely a slut. This one, definitely a hoe. Like, she looks like she'd be hard to fuck. She looks like she's leaving at 11:30. So if I'm riding with her, I need to go now. It's just studying people and their behaviors that gave me the information and the knowledge that I needed to write my book. But I do understand that people use hoe in a derogatory way, and I'm okay with that.
Okay. Now, in your world, you deal with like sex as a profession, right? I mean, you kind of look at it like a business, like these NDAs, the people that you're associating with. It's more like maybe like less emotions involved, and you just even it, like kind of break that down. Like even maybe go into like, what pleasure do you find out of this, and then how do you draw just a simple like line between maybe your pleasure, your business, or do you just intertwine the both?
I don't look at it like business, but I do handle it like business. I look at it like it is literally play. I have no romantic attachment in any way to physical interactions. I'm not, when I say I treat it like business in some ways, I only mean like I do an agreement with all of my roster members. And on this agreement, it's not like, hey, sign your name on the dotted line. No, it's more like, this is what I want to get out of this. This is what you want to get out of this. This is what you don't want. This is what I don't want. And then these are my red lights, my yellow lights, and my green lights. Sexually, kinks, fetishes, all the things. That's the reason I do that, is because I don't like mess. When you have mess, your message gets lost in your mess. You don't want what you want from this situation anymore. You're not about to find a hot chick like me in a situationship. Nope. Be obsessed with me or leave. Like, that's really it. When it comes to a kind of relationship. But yeah, that's why I'm very strict in that way when it comes to the NDAs, when it comes to the agreements. Other than that, it's not business to me. It's just literally a game, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a game.
Just a game. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is this when people say like we've talked before. So you are a mother, and so like, say like, I mean, do you in your profession or any of this, like, how do you maybe like, since you're a mother and raising a son, is there any of that like, uh, do you worry about that at all? The way if he sees something or if he, like, oh, the way you're so free with your sexuality. Is there any like, how do you
Well, I
handle
will
that?
say my kid is a major cock block. That's for sure. Kids are a major cock block, but I don't worry about that. Honestly, I'm more worried about the women when my son gets older because my son asks questions. He's not afraid to ask questions, but I don't do anything like the kids call it sus now around him. He doesn't see any of that. He doesn't hear any of these conversations. He doesn't know about my book. He's only 10. He doesn't need to know about those things. So I don't really worry about him. I'm more worried about the younger girls when he gets old enough to really start clapping cheeks. Because he's very emotionally in tune as well, because I'm a borderline. So he's going to have game on game on game,
Yeah. Now, like, what sort of spawned this ideology, or did things happen as a kid where you did somebody break your heart when you were in fucking high school? Like, what is there any sort of like, if you could speak on the trauma or anything that goes along with this stuff?
When I was in college, somebody kidnapped me and tortured and assaulted me for more than 14 hours and left me for dead. So after that, I had a lot of trouble. I don't want to necessarily say respecting men, although that was part of it, but I literally thought men were trash and did things intentionally, vindictively to hurt them for a very long time. But the part of being so detached romantically from sex comes from that.
Okay. And that was in college? Like,
yeah. Sorry, I was reading the comment. First of all, you can't spell hone without hoe. So write that down.
Damn.
Hoe for everyone or a hoe for someone's son? Just saying. Or daughter.
I like your spin on it, but it's almost like fighting an uphill battle as far as that term, or certain terms in society where like they try like, nah, this is our word, we're gonna say it. It's like, oh, but it has like, but okay, let me ask you this: like, what was do you know much about this like manosphere? Like, did you know much about Kevin Samuels before he passed, or maybe now, like this Fresh and Fit podcast, any of the, there's these guys who, they just have these hard, I don't know if they're hard takes or whatever, just it's called the manosphere, right?
Okay.
Do you like, and they kind of go in on women as far as like, with your thinking is like, I guess the more traditional sense is like all this, I don't need a man, girl, I'm independent, and there's this whole, a lot of men who they really live up and believe in that. Like, are you ever trying to get wifed up, or ever, just down the road, do you see yourself like being a submissive to a man in a relationship in any sort of role, or you just?
I wouldn't consider myself to be a submissive to him, but I do see that for my future. Just because I act the way I do now doesn't mean that I have no intentions of ever getting married. Here's the difference. Hoes have hoes, the whole roster, the lineup. We're called the in-betweeners. We mess with each other when we're not in a relationship. It's the in-betweeners. But there's a shared mutual respect that, if they text, one of my roster members texts me right now and says, hey, I'm in a relationship. Say less. I'm not going to text you. We're not going to talk. We're not doing all that. But if it doesn't work out, they'll shoot me a text, be like, yo, line them up. All right, let's get it. Back on it. Because that's what the in-betweeners are. I don't see myself marrying any of those roster members, no. But right now in the position I'm at in my life, I have to be honest. And that's what a lot of people aren't doing. I can't offer someone what they deserve in a relationship, period. So it's not that I don't want to get wifed up. It's that I'm not a wife right now. That's not fair. It wouldn't be fair for me to even try to do that or be in that serious of a relationship because I just don't have time for it. You got to be honest with yourself, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's kind of what I pride myself on. Like I'm in a relationship. I have a baby mom and girlfriend. We're a common fucking law at this point. We've had took a couple year break and this and that. But I like Patrice O'Neal's classic joke where he's like, my girl's been with me for 5 years. I've been with her for 2, and so, she's been with me for 9. I've been with her for like 4, so like, and I just have this, I'm like a pretty cynical guy. Let me ask you, this is my belief. This is my opinion. Like, I truly think, I'm not going to say all men cheat, but I think there's, well, I'll say that I think 95 fucking % would definitely cheat if they could, like just if they had the access or the game or the wherewithal or just whatever the fuck. They just walked to check their mail and there was just like a girl bent over, a little midget stuffed in the mailbox, and they could just take it off and go hump it. Like, we would do that. And so for me, like, my girl's still, she's cool. Like, I'm not actively cheating now, but I've had my moments, and I just tell her like, yo, like, I don't believe that whole one part, like that shit don't even make sense to me. So anyway, what is your true opinion? Like, do you think that all men cheat? Am I accurate on my estimate? Like, that we would?
I think, number one, I think most people are going to cheat in a relationship, especially if it's long term. And here's why. We change as people every day. The older we get, 7 years down the line, you're a completely different person than you were. If you look at yourself 7 years ago, are you the same person you were then? No, of course not. You better not be. If you are, that's a problem. The problem in relationships is understanding and realizing that may not be forever, and that's okay. We have this societal standard where it's like till death. Like, how about till like maybe we're 40 and then fuck it. Like, you know what I mean? After 40, like the kids are grown. See ya. I'm out. We try to force each other to stay in these relationships. Doesn't mean the love is lost if you leave the relationship. It just means you have to be honest and respect your partner enough to say, hey, I got mad love for you, but this ain't it no more. So either I'm going to cheat on you or let's split it. For me, if a man cheats on me, she just better look better than me. My biggest rule is I need to be able to understand. Like, I should be able to want to fuck them too. If not, like, I might burn your house down. I'm crazy, but that's a joke. But, they have to look better than me, period. I have to understand why, that's my thing. But if you try to force your partner or force a relationship, it's not going to work. And they probably will cheat in the long run.
Yeah. Like, I think, my girl specifically is not like, the way I speak to her, and I guess I've coached her up over the years. Like, I'm out, like the first night I met her, I told her, I'm a player, I'm a player, girl. But I'm saying that in the sense of, I did have a couple girls I was sleeping around with, but I'm a wild dog. Like, I'm always going to do what the fuck I want to do. And I think there's women like you who you're like a man in that sense. Like, you just want to do what the fuck you want to do. Luckily, I got a pretty, just dope chick as far as she's just mellow as fuck. She just trusts me. I trust her. Like, but she, I got a long leash. I got a long ass leash. I'm like one of the only dogs that could probably go around the block a couple times and then still come back and get fed. Like, and it's pretty cool.
That's love.
But and it's not like it's an open. It's just baby. Like, and I guess for me, I'm starting to realize I am more traditional, but like and I tell her all the time, I tell girls that I date, like cheating for me, man, the physical stuff. If I'm like, if we start off like day one and we're having a train or a threesome or some shit, you know, I would never probably date a bitch that ran a train on with my homeboy, but you know what I'm saying? Like if we start with some freaky shit and that's where we take it, that's where it's gonna be. But if you're like in this committed relationship, and then, so I just always put it out there, kind of like, hey, I could be tempted, and I want to be tempted. So just, you know, I'm not really going to do it in your face, but I always say, like, you know, if you get off work and give a fucking quickie in the parking lot or suck a dick on the way home, like, I'm not really supposed to know anyway. So as long as you cover up your shit, and and hopefully you would be using I don't know, all this shit. That's just how I put myself in the whole thing. And, you know, when I leave the house, you know, sex is like I'm not gonna defend my life for this bitch I just fucked.
You broke up a little bit.
Oh, okay. But
sex, what?
Like it's kind of like it's like a repetition. It's like for men, I mean, it's like going to the gym or, you know, drinking water. I mean, it's something that we could do just so naturally from a physical standpoint with very little emotion attached. But then we can literally come home and love our woman, or who we deem is our woman, you know. And I just try to let my partners kind of just understand that aspect at least. So then if I do it, the blow is not as bad, I guess. You know what I mean? They're not like flipping out.
Yeah, because you were honest and transparent about it. You communicated. You got to keep it real with people. And sometimes, hey, boo. That's my friend, sorry. That's what I'm trying to explain, too, is that societal standard. Oh, my gosh. They have a polyamorous relationship. Nobody even knows what that means. But here's the thing. Let's say you're in a toy store and you see a toy on that shelf and you really want to play with that toy, but you're not allowed to play with that toy. You're going to sneak to play with that toy. Whether or not you're public or messy about it, I don't know. Depends on you. But let's say you're in that same store and it's that same toy and you want it this bad. You're allowed to have it whenever you want. You don't want it no more. How often are you actually going to play with it? The same goes with relationships.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Do you believe, though, that in a general sense, I guess, like, and I believe this, so I'm asking your opinion, that women, just the majority of women, could like they're more likely to remain with one partner throughout a lifetime or like a 20-30 year experience compared to a man who, I don't know, man, we got to get it in sometimes. It's just variety. We're like more animalistic. And what's your opinion on that?
Women emotionally cheat often. That's what men don't realize. Men need that physical. Yes.
So, okay. Hold on. Sorry to cut you off, but yeah. I want you to go in on that, because I was getting ready to say cheating to me, I get more pissed, or have been more pissed in the past, say like for the work husband, or you know, say like if you're sitting there texting, you know, different thing, you know, and I do get paranoid. I gotta do little checks. I spaz out my girl probably once a month, you know, just to keep her in line and shit like that. And you know, fucking you know, what are you doing over there? You know, who's you know, I do. And that keeps
like, oh,
that keeps me, you know, just and she'll be like, I'm not doing nothing, whatever. And I'm like, cool, but I've had that problem in the past to where that's more for me. Like, yo, if you're up in there like telling this motherfucker like our business though, for real, like we're in this partnership, but if there's a third party that knows, and I don't know, I let girls be girls. I'm not even talking girl talk. Like another man, if you're giving them, you know, and a lot of women do that to me at work. I'm a, you know, I bartend and stuff, and so I work in that setting, and the things that happen in the workplace, oof, Lord Almighty, I don't know why they make us watch these sexual harassment videos. It's fucking stupid. But like these bitches be coming in. Even the other day, we got started on one girl ain't been fucked since Valentine's Day. Her and her man, and they're just like, well, we're at different places in our life. So sorry to cut you off, but yes, emotional cheating, and then I agree with that. But go on, sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm glad that you expanded on it to give examples, because women will check out even though they're still in the relationship for a very long time. That's when you find more of the work husbands. It's when you find are more talking to people online, downloading even dating apps, which are horrible, I think. In my perspective, my opinion, horrible. Stop using dating apps. Anyway, I can expand on that after. Men can just go out and attend to their physical need that they may or may not be getting enough of. And then it's done. They're not going to call her back. They don't care. And even if they do, it's probably just to clap her cheeks again. There's no emotional attachment. Women aren't going out and physically cheating, but they're emotionally cheating constantly. And it's something that people don't talk about. You know, if your woman's sitting there telling all your business to another man in your relationship, she is emotionally cheating. She's investing her emotions into somebody else when they should be reserved for you or the girl chat. The girl chat's important.
I definitely agree with that. And let me talk about this for a minute. And I could be insecure, whatever. You know, I just like to talk about some of like my take on it. Because I've been in like 2 relationships. This is really my only one, like, you know, but it's a long-term one. But in the beginning, I'm one of those motherfuckers like, yo, if I'm not home, I don't want, like, there shouldn't be another man in this house, period. I don't give a fuck if you goddamn brother, the fucking repairman, the maintenance man. You know, I like how the Mormons do it when they go knock on your door. If there's a woman that answers and there's not a man at home, they can't come in. I like that shit. But the emotional side to me is what's the most hurtful, and it can lead to like that damage, like that real sinister shit, almost to where, and this is where only thing I want to know, because I think about the completely darkest possibilities, and I just want to know if a motherfucker's plotting against me for real. Like if you're laying there and then, you know, you got it planned out, oh, I go to work at this time, you know, and then this motherfucker creeping over at 10:45, and because I've been on that other side, so I don't know if it's like a karma thing or whatever, but I'm always like in the back of my head, especially in this day and age, if we're just clear on the socials, you know, I know her password, you don't mind. Hey, if you ever need it, it's there. I ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's sort of where I would prefer to be with the woman. And then if you want to, well, what do you think about, of course, as men, we always say, you know, yeah, we would want our girl to have another girl, but God forbid.
You're breaking up again. There you go. You're back. I can't hear you though.
Hold on.
There we go.
All right. Yeah, you know, ever since we switched to locale, the motherfucking reception is not the greatest. Hold on. Let me actually go over here on Podbean. Salute Podbean. We're gonna actually end it over here on Podbean because they're saying motherfucking sound's fucking up anyway over there too. So, but anyway, yeah, motherfucking Podbean. But yeah, what's your take on that? Like, you want to bring. I'm cool if you bring another girl into the relationship, but there ain't gonna be no dudes. You better not ask to bring another cock up in here. Is that? And I believe in double standards. I mean, what's your take on that?
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's not okay. Here's the thing. Number one, a big thing that I have, a big rule you can say that I have is, or a big piece of advice. Here you go. Not a rule, a piece of advice that I give people. Do not ask for a third party to join you in the bedroom if you are not married. Period. And if you're not happily married, definitely don't do it. And usually I tell the men not to be the one that brings it up. Let the woman bring it up and never a friend. There's so many rules because when you say things like that, let's say if you're not in a relationship with your girl, doesn't matter if you're dead set on being with her forever. If you're not married to this woman, it's going to plant a seed before you even get to that stage that she's not good enough in some way and that you need someone else to join you. Whether or not it's true is irrelevant. This is what the way women think. It plants a seed. They're going to think in some way that they're not enough for you and you're not even married yet. And it's just going to boil over in time. Women don't bring it up as soon as it happens. That's the issue. Men will be like, bitch, he grabbed your ass the wrong way. I don't like that. You didn't say nothing. I don't like that. Women won't do that. Women will sit and hold that shit in. And then 3 years from now, she'll be like, you don't remember June 17th, 2019, when you asked if that bitch could join our relationship? You know what I mean? Like, that's how women do things. So I always suggest that you don't approach a woman about that, especially if you're not married. But in this case, in your case too, you can't sit here and be like, it's cool if you want to invite a girl over, but not a man. Fuck that. You have to, gotta, that's not fair. You got to get some leniency. Because if you're going to be that rigid and that strict on a man not coming into the situation, then she could do the same thing to you. Are you going to leave her if she says no about a woman? Just because you said no about a man, so shouldn't she have the right to say no? Now, the house thing, I agree with. So I'm not going to say anything about that. I do not believe. Now, brother, father, cool. Grandfather, whatever. Direct, immediate family, fine. Anyone else, there should never be a man in the house with a woman if her man is not home. Period. And that's just a respect thing for me. That's just my personal belief. It doesn't make it whether it should be that way or not. That's just what I believe as well. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah. And for the record, I would never want to bring anybody in my relationship, because that's my son's mom. Like I want to hold her up in the highest regard, for when he gets older, and I don't know. And then I'm big on energy. Like I wouldn't. There's some dark, there's energy, man. It's sex magic and all this weird shit happens when you start to mix energy and body fluids and stuff like that. And I believe in like little portals, like whatever, jinns and shit. When you're doing sinister lust shit like that. So I wouldn't want to put no bad juju on my kids, mama. I would just prefer to go. I would just go leave the house and just go have fun with 2, 3, 4 of them. Come home like ain't nothing fucking happened, and just nobody would know a thing, and I'd be the most happiest, giddiest motherfucker in the world. I could still play with my son, throw the football, dad of the year. But that'd be my my preferred method. Like what's your personal so I take it you're single, you're just out, whatever. I mean, do you have like a sex schedule? I mean, do you have, like how often does CA have to just generally, get some dick, like, get your rocks off, what, before, and, honestly, like, just being out there. I mean,
realistically, I have to at least twice a week.
Okay.
Now, myself is different because I'm my favorite person to fuck. I put some Savage Garden on, light some candles. No, just kidding. Romance, baby. I'm kidding. No, but that is every day. But with another partner, it has to be at least twice a week. And it should be for everybody. If you're more sexually focused, whether you're in a relationship or not, it should be at least twice a week.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because that conversation came up like at work and shit. You know, just like I ain't been. It's Valentine's for us. Is this, you know? And they're like, how often you have it? I'm just like, hey, you know, a little, you know, person, whatever. But I'm just like, hey, you know, in my relationship, I say, hey, we got kids and shit. I say, if we have it 4 times, that's fucking gold. You know, like at this point,
Right.
Like, and that's in between, right? So, but when I was out there, as a man with testosterone, right? There's this thing that we do amongst each other where, you know, of course we, you know, everyone, man, I get the most pussy, man. I got this bitch, right? We're braggers, and a lot of us lie on our dicks, right? I can never. I've lied on my dick before. Every man's done it. I don't do it anymore. I have no reason to. But when I was like pre-kid, you know, pre-father, I always just told myself, like, because sometimes, you know, it was just I was still in a different mindset. I'm always like pursuing different things. I had jobs that took me fucking away for months at a time. I'd still be dipping and moving, but I had a general rule of thumb, like I gotta fuck something new like every 60 days, like every 2 months. You know, I gotta get some new pussy. And then there'd be, you know, weeks or days where I'd get a string of pussy or whatever, meet a woman and I'd be having a lot of sex for that, you know, weeks or whatever. But then there's always this like thing in the back of my head that and it's not, it's a beauty thing. Like, oh, you want the baddest one, you want your fantasy woman. But even if I had this, you know, I've had the hot women, but I only wanted to sleep with her sister too, right? And then you see the other one walk in, and then we want this one and this one. There's, as like men, we just do this pursuit. At least for myself, it's like this.
You want to catch them all. You want to get the very best one.
And there's literally.
You're breaking up again.
All right, we're just gonna be in and out. But I'm saying there's no, you know, blowjob good enough. There's no sex good enough, you know, for us. Even if we get some sloppy toppy, we're gonna be chasing it. It's like a high. So that's kind of my overall analogy of just why I don't believe in fucking faithfulness for long extended periods of time. You know what I mean? So it's that's good that we have that in common. What do you got going on? You do a lot of nightclubs and stand-up comedy, and you're constantly working. What do you have going on like the month of June, since we're coming in on summer? Oh, this is the pre-Memorial Day show. I haven't even mentioned that, but this is the summer kickoff this weekend, so I know it's popping over there in Philly. Yeah,
it's always popping in Philly. There's always something going on, man. Show wise for me, June, I'm kind of falling back a little bit. Like I do have a show this weekend. I do have a big one in July, but June I kind of fell back because I'm really trying to get my book out by the end of June. Right now I kind of went rogue from my publisher, so here's the hoping, fingers crossed, but it had to be done, and I'm hoping that's why I didn't really book anything for June, just because I wanted to be able to focus completely on that, undivided. And I also have a business, a kid, a mental health foundation, you know, so I just can't give it the attention it deserves if I'm also doing shows and everything else. So remember about being realistic. That's me being realistic.
Okay. But it's CA Kanooble on all platforms. I got your IG up there at CA Kanooble. And I see you doing the damn thing. You got a big following on Facebook and several thousand on Instagram as well. And
I think it's like 8,500 now.
How? I was going to ask you about your last name. You know, what's this Kanooble? Is this a real name? Is this some sort of stage name? I've never heard Kanooble. Sounds like poodle or doodle.
So Kanooble is a name that is my stage name. It is not my real last name. I just hate my actual last name. I'm kidding. I don't. It's not cute. So Kanooble is something my mom used to call me when we were growing up. We had a neighbor and her name was Stella, and it was this old ass lady. Looking at the comment. She white girl wasted. Get it, girl. I know that's right.
Pull up.
It's something my mom had a neighbor and her name was Stella. It was this old ass lady, and I just whenever her family members would come by, they'd yell Stella. So my mom used to call me Stella Kanooble, and I used to call her Flirty Gertie Kanooble. And yeah, then a couple of my friends adopted it. My best friend, I'd call her Petunia Kanooble. So there's a few Kanoobles that are out there, but my mom came up with the name.
Okay.
It is a DBA though, a stage name.
Hell yeah. Got to keep your shit legit. When you're out in the clubs, hot girl summer and whatnot, I mean, what's your go-to drink? Well, you know, if you come to the bar, what's C.A. Kanooble gonna order? What's a couple of choices?
There is no couple of choices. It's going to be straight Jack Daniels or Johnny Walker, period.
Okay.
I don't do mixed drinks. I don't do beers. I don't do wine coolers. Just give me a straight shot of Jack. Double shot, actually.
Hold on. Wait.
You're muted.
Jack Daniels.
There you go.
So you said, sorry, I think we both cut out again. Fucking live. That's the only fucking thing around with live streaming bullshit. God damn it. Jack Daniels, Johnny Walker, and then you cut out.
And straight. Nothing with it. No mixed drinks. No beer.
Okay.
No wine coolers. None of that shit.
Damn.
No, like, if you can't take a straight shot of whiskey without flinching, then you need to lower your voice when you speak to me. Period.
Yeah. Absolutely. I drink all my whiskey neat. The only thing I'll drink on ice is this delicious Gubba Gold, the vanilla infused rum, and they got the coconut infused rum. But I like gin on the rocks. I love a fucking nice gin on the rocks with a lime or a blue cheese olive if they have them. And that's about the only liquor I drink on ice. You know, unless it's a mixed drink, but whiskey's always neat. Tequila always neat. And that's my favorite shit. But I think we could drink, but I'm not doing shots with you all night. I'll do like one shot and then I sip. That's how I do it. I'm not just sitting there throwing them back.
Well, I don't sit there throwing it back either. Like, I'll get a double shot and I sip on my double shot. I'm not just like, I sip on my double shot, but I don't like ice in it because then it waters it down.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's still no ice. It's just in a cup.
Hell
and I'll sip on that for maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah. Get another one. And
then I go off and I dance.
There you go.
Or I go make friends, or I go outside and I'm smoking, making friends, and then I come back in and then everybody's like, shots. And I'm like, yeah, I'll just take my double shot. Yeah, clink, 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 you know, but I'm still sipping mine.
Okay. That's what's up. Yeah, we you know, try to drink responsibly over here. I don't really get too shitty on the show, unlike some people may think. You know, Harris is drinking. I'm always drinking, but I'm always like usually sipping. You know, that's the way you got to do it.
Facts.
I like beer though too. Fucking Modelo. I want to get a Modelo sponsor. That's the ultimate goal. Just kidding. But that's what's up. So Philadelphia, comedy, book, mother, hoe. That's dope. I could just say a hoe, right? I mean, like,
yeah.
And then
mentally ill hoe at that.
Mentally ill hoe. Can we wait? Before we get out here, let's if you want to talk about it, you know, or maybe post abduction, what have you, like, how did you bounce back from that? And because you were on here in the beginning, I had an aunt, uncle, and a cousin that were all just like murdered last Friday morning. The husband shot all three of them and the three dogs. And I mean, my mom's feeling the effects because I was her last living sister. I didn't, haven't seen my Aunt Becky in the last like 10 years. But how did you get through that? I mean, was therapy and all this stuff?
So, for full disclosure, I didn't tell anybody my story until October of last year. I'm almost 32. I didn't tell anybody because I didn't remember a lot of what happened to me. I just, I kept silent. We're told to suck it up by our parents all our lives. That's what I did. I sucked it up. As a side note, you can't tell me to suck it up my whole life and now I'm a hoe and it's a problem. Just saying. Like, I'm just doing what you asked me to do. But with this situation, I didn't tell anybody. And I was just, I was a heavy weed smoker. I was a single mom. My kid kept me busy. And I just kind of ignored whatever PTSD symptoms that I very clearly had. And in 2020, I started seeing a therapist and we started really working on unlocking those recessed memories. And 5 weeks into seeing a therapist, my 18-year-old sister died very suddenly. She was very close to me, and it just caused a very bad downward spiral. Drugs, drinking, it didn't matter. I was literally never sober or never by myself, period. And I actually gave myself a heart attack last year at the age of 30. And then I tried to off myself. And that's really where I started moving to where I am now. I'm in therapy. The mood stabilizers, I just want everybody to know, are for y'all, not for me, but yes, I do take them. Me getting diagnosed with borderline really, because I went to a mental institution and did a 2-week grippy sock vacation after that. And that's when I got diagnosed with different mental health conditions. I'm like, oh, got it. Cool. Okay. So that's why I wanted to die immediately when my little sister died and nobody else thought it was like as deep as I did. Not that they didn't think it was a big deal or it didn't hurt them. It just hurt me way more and I couldn't figure out why. But they compare borderline to having 3rd-degree burns emotionally. You feel things very deeply. So I was like, got it. Cool. It answered a lot of questions, but it also started my track to getting better. No one's ever good or healed or over it, but you get better and it's not linear. Some days are great. Some days I am a literal trash can. All days still a hard 7 out of 10, period.
Okay. I love that because this is a therapy night rants, also Thursday night rants, TNR. And I like getting people's story because one of my fallbacks is that, like, it's drugs. That's some of my history, right? My darkness comes from like drugs, a little bit of molestation, whatever, child abuse stuff when I was young, pornography, just being really sexual young age, and then meth. I used to love meth. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, I got pretty teeth. I got all my faculties. Mother be like, you used to do meth? I fucking did a lot of it. And that's why I got this touch. Shit, after the show, I'd be spitting my puddles and shit. But, that's why my face is all shiny. Just kidding, guys. I wouldn't even fucking do a podcast on that. Now I'm about 3 years off that or whatever. And, but like, yeah, like, I like and anyway, brief rundown. Like, I was pilled up from 6 to 18. Like, I had the reverse. Like, I was diagnosed with a bunch of shit at 6 and 9 years old, and that was just fucking kept me on everything, right? And went through a bunch of psychosis, psychotic stuff, and therapists when I was young. And 18 had this like crazy transformation. Quit prescription pills. I quit drinking like soda. I went on this whole detox. Didn't listen to rap music or any curse words, like this whole thing. But anyway, it started to whatever. Had a little dip around 2012, 2013, and got back on some. So I got a little schmipolar. I don't even like to talk about it and stuff, but I don't like nothing. I'm so anti pharmacy and Big Brother that I'm just I just smoke and drank, and I've always done that. But now it's like that's literally how I cope with it, and just like keeping active. Like my son helps me a lot. But and then the podcast, and hearing other people's stories like that of how we all just handle it, and then we all just fucking move on, and then we just sometimes the clouds come back. I used to describe mine as a cloud. They don't come like they used to. I feel like I'm almost over all that shit. I feel like I can conquer almost everything, but it'd be like a sunny day, almost like Reno weather, and I'm sure Philly has the same thing. Wait 15 minutes and the weather will change. It seems like every state has that, like, oh, weather over here, but it really be fucked up over here. But no, like this gray cloud would just move in over me. Yeah, man, I'll get like real. I always said if I was gonna ever off myself though, it would have been between the ages of 14 and 17. Like, I'm not gonna suicide myself now, in case anybody does come for me, or if you guys ever do come with that contract, that I'm willing to sign for the right amount of money, But yeah, I'm not gonna actually off myself. They're gonna have to Kanye me and all that, put me in the mental institution.
I don't think there's anything wrong with having coping mechanisms. Whether or not they're healthy, who cares? We live once. You get what I'm saying? Now, the meth, that's different. That's a bit much, But still nothing wrong with that, because at the time, that's what you needed to cope. It's okay.
Yeah. A lot of people...
I chose not so great vices that gave me a fucking heart attack at 30 years old. I have a congenital heart defect. Shouldn't be doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? I could die tomorrow without it. But that for me with borderline, suicidal ideation is very, very rampant and very heavy. So whereas you say you couldn't pay me on alive, most borderlines try at least 3 times in their lifetime. So, yeah. And I mean that, the mean number of times is 3, and I'm already at 2. But now I have, different ways of remembering, like, oh, I'm not suicidal. I'm slightly disappointed. Got it. Yeah. Got it. I got a motion wheel on my phone. I'm going, So we all have vices that we go to. There's nothing wrong with having those vices. You know how many people, because I used to have a drinking problem, have an issue when they see me with a drink in my hand? Have an issue, bitch. Have an issue. I don't anymore. But if you have an issue with my history, that's on you. I'm not the same person I was last year or even 6 months ago. You get what I'm saying? So I hate that.
Yeah. No, that's why it's beautiful to be open about it and talk about it. And for the record, it was cocaine and Adderall as well. But look, I was born with meth, and I was a meth baby, not even a crack baby, but with these little trace amounts and everything. And I found out this information years later because I was adopted and everything, and eventually did meet my biological mother and the whole thing. But not to use that as an excuse, but other people constantly kind of bring that up, like, well, you were born, you have this, it's in your thing and everything, and then the first time like really doing it, I was 12 years old, and I just took a little puff. The big kids were doing it. I had moved away from this place, and I had came back. I'm sitting here, we're gathered in a circle like we're gonna smoke a bowl, and this motherfucker busts out this little terry cloth wrapped with this motherfucking white little thing, and I was like, the fuck? I was like, what is that? Not even white, dingy ass like shit, but I'm just like, and that was the first time I did that. But the draw, and then of course like Adderall and stuff, same shit when you're a kid giving it, and then you find out recreational, and then how good it fucking now the whole sex and is related on amphetamines, pornography. I'm sure you hear about these guys, you do some Adderall and shit, and it's better to be with someone on it. But if not, man, we'll sit there and I'll be watching porn for like 24 hours and shit, like scrolling and fucking, you get lost in that addiction as well. and it's a double team. I'm sitting there like looking for the best lesbian porn. I'm downloading like 145 videos. I'm getting alerts that my phone capacity is like at storage, and I'm just fucking sitting there on a binger. Oh, it's dark. It's dark. So see, I bring that up though, so I don't feel like I don't go back to those moments, because I'm like, at the end of it, it's just like patheticness. But the smoking and the drinking, you know, I do that like taking a pill. You know what I mean? Like some people wake up, take their mood stabilizer, wherever, their Xanax. I'll stop and get a shooter before work, or like pour 3 shooters in my coffee and sip it until noon. You know, like there's not every day, but there's just times I do that. I mean, any chance I get throughout the day, I smoke. So, yeah, until we all get better, you know. Now, in closing, you know, just you seem like a free spirit type of individual. I know before I did have a co-host, Brother Ray. He was my Christian co-host, and we've since, you know, I'm doing the show solo. He and I know you guys had a little heated exchange there at one point.
Yeah.
You know, he always says like, man, you know, if I was on there with her, I would have, you know. And I'm like, I know, bro, what you're gonna do. Like, you know, all the stuff she's saying, that's not in the Bible, and then it would be this whole thing. But I like how, and neither one of you are wrong or right, and maybe at some point we can have that actual discussion in like a way, like a mediated kind of, but I don't think so, because and this is the thing I have with just Christians in general, is that they're so dead set on their way.
I was just gonna say that he is not going to like what I have to say.
Yeah. And I don't know, but mine's like myself, like I believe in something, whatever. But I just believe I'm a decent motherfucker, you know, decent human being, and so I don't know.
That's important. As long as you believe and you are morally decent in your own eyes, doesn't matter.
Yeah, like I wake up, no harm or ill will is really like in my heart. I literally want to be left the fuck alone. The most sinister shit I have in my heart and mind is just fucking lust, just fucking complete, like, you know, weird sex fantasies and shit like that. And they're all between they're all between the ages of 18 and 99. Like I don't play that young shit, none of that. You know, all my fantasies are but now
you're 25 and up. Like if you're under 25, you can't even get into this club.
Yeah.
I just, like, my little sister was 18 though. You know, she would have been 21 this year. So anybody under 25, I'm like, that's weird. But you don't have that same situation, so it's not an issue. I just need, for me personally, 25 and up.
No, absolutely. No, but see, I can't, like, even MILFs aren't the same for me anymore. I've never broken into the 50-year-old club. When I was 24, I had a 48-year-old sugar mama. She was 47, turned 48, and but I want to crack like the 60-year-old club. Like you know, I see these beautiful women. I met a woman the other day, 59. You know, and we're back. God damn it. Club, now that I'm getting older, and I just wondered if like 6-year-old pussy still just like gets wet and juicy or something. You know,
I don't see why I wouldn't. I mean, I have had a partner in his 60s, and this dude had a 9-pack, and he was better looking than most people in my age range. I was just like, dang.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. One final like thing. I know it's getting late over there. Men and erectile dysfunction. Do you come across like men these days, or just like how many times have you been let down? You know, maybe he's a good dancer, this and this. You get to the final point, and a motherfucker can't get his dick hard. Is that becoming a phenomenon these days, or do you got?
I've seen an increase in it. Not for me, because I will leave. Like, if I will leave. because I'm not going to be disappointed. The only person who can never disappoint me is myself. But I'm not going to put myself in situations sexually where I am going to be disappointed. Nah, I'm leaving. Or step your head game up, one or the other. Period. I've seen an increase in that, and the problem is because of porn, believe it or not. Porn can be as addicting as cocaine. Literally, that is a scientific fact. Can be as addicting as cocaine. When you're watching porn, and this goes for women and for men, this is not just for men, you tend to, number one, increase in aggressiveness in the bedroom. Number two, your skill set's going to be whack because you're going to be copying things that you see that's not even real. That's all fantasy. And number three, you are now too dependent on something to that degree as the porn you're watching to get excited. So she could be the baddest bitch around, your girl or some girl, whoever it is, or some guy. But they're not going to do what those people did in the video. It's just not going to do it for you anymore. So yes, there has been a very big increase in erectile dysfunction that I've seen, or just sexual dysfunction in general.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right.
People need to learn to rely on their fantasy a little more.
Yeah. I actually, and I know what you mean, and being, of course, a user and mixing the two and different things, and just having to like I have to have like my nipples like stimulated more, my neck stimulated more, in order to come different. Like I like strokes along the back, like there's got to be, and it's almost like it gets harder and harder to sort of ejaculate, and but sometimes, maybe once a month, I always do, and I encourage all men to do this. You fuck the porn because it's so easy to scroll, but you have to do that mental jerk. Take it back when you're, first getting your fucking puberty and you're feeling, and you would just fucking jerk about the, sounds weird now, but like, the fucking cutest girl in school and shit. I would think. I remember the first time I was about. This was 5th grade. Mrs. The year Jennings, but she got married over the summer. Miss Warwick. I didn't know really nothing, but I would always like imagine like eating her out, or just like something like putting my face in between her thigh. Like I would get home, and this was before like I really knew how to jerk it. I would grab my penis with my 2 fingers and my thumb, and I would sit there on the back of the toilet seat like I'm sitting now, and I would just move it like a joystick, like back and forth. That was my first, like, and nothing would come out. But after a few like minutes, like the orgasm would come that I know now. But like back then, it was like this, like fucking crazy rush, and I would do that, but in my mind, thinking of the mental stuff. So that's a tool or that you could use. Just go back to the mental jerk.
It is so important to do that. I encourage women to do that too. Because the problem with women too is they use these roses and they use these vibrators, and then they get upset when a man can't make them come. Okay, well, ma'am, he can't suck the soul from your body like a little mini vacuum that you've been using on a high power twice a day for a year. Stop using your toys. Give it a week or two. Let your body reset. Just play DJ. You know what I'm saying? Play some DJ, bitch. Get some tunes going. You know what I'm saying? You can't always rely on the toys, just like men can't always rely on the porn. You gotta use your imagination, man. Period. If you can't use your imagination to come, then you need to stop watching porn altogether, because now you don't even have that portion of your brain left to make that happen. That's going to take a while to get back.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Well, CA, thank you for coming on. Hopefully this is not the last time. First time you're a guest. Second time after that, you're family motherfuckers. So if the door's open, just hop on in, and fridge is right there. And
I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. I'm gonna try to get some clips out here and there. We got started a little clips channel and all this, but I gotta find a new service that I can make clips strictly from the link. These motherfucking YouTube keep changing this bullshit. So anyway, but you have a good night. Go subscribe to Kanooble, and then I'll probably, hopefully, even see you Sunday night on Beelines. And then I would love if you're, whenever you're in the moment again doing guests, I'll get back on your platform and
absolutely
do some red table talk.
Oh yeah, I love it.
All right, well, you have a good night, Philly in the house. All right, see. Up in the building on the motherfucking Harry's drinking again Pubcast. Yo. You have been listening to the Harris is Drinking Again Pubcast. For more, go to YouTube, type in @Haida Pubcast. Look us up on Spotify, any and all streaming platforms. Harris is Drinking Again Pubcast. Thank you.